let me try to upset you, okay?
Now, why you want to ruin my mood? This early into the afternoon, you want to ruin my mood. Wow. All right. So that's how we starting off today's episode. Nice.
Come on. I have to enjoy my sessions, you know?
At the expense of my agony. Love that. Love that.
Listen. I was having a good day, you know. Instagram tends to ruin my mood, you know, and I don't want to be the only one
So you have
suffering.
to ruin mine? That is not how this works. No.
Why not?
What do you mean? Why not?
Why not?
Just get on with it. Yes, just get on with it. The pagni come.
Okay. So on this episode of How Ray Annoys Bingo Bean over here, right? We have the first topic that made my head hurt and say, you know what? I have to come off of this app. Lollipops are so effing weird. You flavor your own spit, then drink it. Someone replies, I was having a good day before I read this.
I did not need to know that. I really did not need to.
Now, if you think about it, that is exactly what is happening, you know?
No, because now I'll be like, oh, this lollipop tastes good. Now I'm gonna be like, oh, my spit tastes flavored. Man.
You know, blue raspberry is not an actual flavor.
So what is it?
It's just regular raspberries, bro. We don't have blue raspberries.
I mean, yeah, it's regular raspberries, but like I assume the blue would refer to like coloring that they put to turn it blue.
Like you see, that's what you would think, right? Because your cabeza working, but like other people, I legit overheard a conversation where they were having a debate saying, no, it's blue raspberry. And they're like, but that doesn't exist. What do you mean it doesn't exist? There are things flavored blue raspberry, therefore it exists.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
You see, read books. Don't be on social media too much. Read books. If you were to read a book or some random magazine when you sit down in a store instead of being on social media on your phone watching some girl shake she bottom, you would probably come across a random fact of like, yo, raspberries are here and, you know, it's just raspberry. Raspberries can be turned into blue raspberry, red raspberry, black raspberry to go to different food items. You never know what you can come across in a random magazine, but no, you decide to watch girl shaking bottom on Instagram so you look like a dumbass. Nice.
You know, it's called brain rot, okay? Anyway.
More like definitive brain damage.
Anyway. So there was a couple and somebody decided to post their intimate conversation with their significant other, and it says, I just told my wife, I'm sorry, we have to raise children in these dystopian times. She recalled a quote she read just today. Never feel sorry for raising dragon slayers in a time where there are actual dragons. I don't know how to feel about that, so I said I'm gonna let you ponder upon it.
Read that again for me.
Brother, I no longer have it.
Wow.
Okay, so the husband was feeling real bad because he have to raise his children in such dystopian times. And the wife was like, I'm gonna hit you with a quote that I read earlier today, okay? Don't feel sorry or don't feel bad for raising dragon slayers in a time where there's actual dragons. And all I could think about is hiccup. So, yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Do you know that Toothless looks like Toothless in the live action?
Well, I should hope Toothless looks like Toothless in the live action. Because, I mean, if he didn't look like Toothless, then it wouldn't be Toothless and people would be rioting over your dragon.
I mean, you could have a Sonic the Hedgehog incident, you know.
No, please.
Where the internet, as a collective, bullied the studio into making Sonic more appealing. Because
they deserve that. No, they deserve that because I have nothing against the people that initially, you know, created how Sonic looked. But you can't tell me that you look back at that and be like, this is acceptable, this is nice, this is cool. Hell no.
I think they wanted to see how far they could go and what they could get away with if
Not
they
for Sonic
just
fans.
ruin
Listen,
if
not
they just
for Sonic
ruin
fans.
the
Sonic
character.
fans are as diehard as Nintendo fans, okay? They are going to fuck your shit up. Yeah, right? They will
Why
not
you
tolerate that
cussing me
slander.
this hour today?
They will not tolerate that slander, right? And it took people that are fans to create something even better and then bully the studio into changing the design. So I mean, they look for that. But at the same time, it
It
wasn't the
was
brightest idea to try and anger Sonic fans because they're as ravaged as Nintendo fans.
they were trying to cut costs and you saw it. Okay, listen.
Yeah, and guess what? If they cut costs, that movie would have had zero views on box office.
It was revolutionary because Pikachu ended up looking like Pikachu, or close enough,
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. But my thing is, I would have been pissed for a whole separate other reason. Because I don't know if you saw the video with Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, right? And Toothless. So I
Yes, I
was
saw that.
like,
I saw that. Yeah.
they said, oh, so we're gonna have, uh, we're gonna make a live action dragons movie, right? I forgot the name of
Mhm.
How to Train Your Dragon, right? And I'm like, well, I expect Toothless to look like Toothless because if Toothless doesn't look as good as the one that was messing with Jon Snow, I'm gonna cause a riot because like what do you mean you have the time and the energy and the budget to make a Toothless to mess with freaking Jon Snow when he's saying his lines, right? Doing one set of Toothless stuff. And then for your own flicking movie, you can't even produce the same or even better dragon that looks like the dragon from the show. I would have been pissed.
Yes, for real, because it looks so good. It looked almost perfect in the ad, right? And then if the movie comes out and it's just like anything under that, instant disappointment. You know, instant just shame. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Mm,
But you have to consider one key factor is that the amount of time they had to do the ad was is it more or less than the amount of time they had to kind of rush the CGI for the movie to finish it in a certain time span. Not to mention that ad is just like what 5 minute ad or a 15-second ad or something like that. Not a 5 minute ad, like a 1 minute ad or 15-second ad or something like that. So it would be
mm.
easier than animating a whole movie and the time crunch that they would have to do. But nonetheless, since they already put that out, you already set a standard of how Toothless is supposed to look. Anything less than that, shame. Shame on you. Shame on whoever rushing the CGI artists. Like, no, 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 no. This needs to
You
be
going off. Yeah, go on.
this to be done. Because how you telling me 10 to
Mm.
15 years ago CGI was peak versus now? You go back and look at those
Oh my
movies.
gosh,
Like
yes, the
the first
first Avatar
Avengers,
that came out
all of that
and
stuff.
all
The first Avatar.
those other things.
How the
Yeah.
hell? No, I liked Avatar too. The CG and that was pretty cool. I liked it. It was fine.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you where someone quoted this was the peak of CGI and they
Yeah.
had a picture of freaking Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, you go back and look at those shows like Pacific Rim, Avatar, Pirates of the Caribbean. Look how good the CG was back then, compared to some of
Back
the CG
then
that you see in
when
movies now.
when the technology wasn't even advanced as today.
Exactly, exactly. What the
Aye.
okay? So one thing that I quote is like in the Black Widow movie, there's one clip where like they had a CG explosion from her jumping off of a plane. Tell me what the hell is that?
Mm.
What the hell was Ironheart's outfit in the series? What the hell was that? And they want to know why the CG sucks so much nowadays is because they have just been on time crunch and they have been rushed and there's so much products that they're just pushing out to push out for pushing's sake because it's Marvel and we're just gonna dish out as much as possible in the shortest period of time so that the consumers will just gobble it up. But the product is so subpar and shit and it looks like crap and the storyline is bad and the script writing is poor that it's not making money and it's not doing well.
You're making it sound like a Mappa Studio incident.
No, it is because the peak of Marvel happened when Avengers Endgame happened.
Mm.
That was it. After Endgame, everything was downhill in terms of quality, in terms of script writing, everything. The CG even got worse in some of the movies because of the time crunch, and it's like, put out quality movies that the fans want, and you will get your profits. But these suits don't understand that. They just want to milk everything in the shortest period of time and kill it off and then go on to something else. And it's like, no, that's
Speaking
not
of
how
missed
you do it.
opportunities, right? Let me just divert you a little bit. Who has the Spider Man game? Is that PS or Xbox?
It is Sony.
It's
It's
Sony.
now on Steam.
Okay, okay. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Okay, I found some information, and I was like, "There's no way. So I found out that Sony was offered the entire Marvel franchise,
Mm.
right? To adapt into games. And Sony said, no, we just want Spider Man. And then, and then fast forward years later, yes, Spider Man went on to do good. But if they had took the entire Marvel franchise right back then, when it was like chump change, okay, they could have been making millions. And that upset me to my core. That I had to talk about it because Sony, what are you doing?
Listen. As much as I've been a PlayStation head for how many years, I wanted to have both consoles, but obviously couldn't at the time. But as much as I've been PlayStation head, like Sony's decision making has not been the greatest in terms of just being stingy with crossovers, crossplay, allowing games to have crossplay, all that stuff. Is like Xbox is like cool, yeah, done, nice. PC and Xbox, nice. Even though it is from Microsoft, right? It's studio is not owned by Microsoft, whatever. Be like Xbox PC, cool, no problem. Sony on the other hand, stingy, right? Now that I have a PC, I don't really care. But at the same time, for the people that just
Wow.
console exclusive, right, is
Wow.
like, why are
Wow.
you being stingy and trying to you see, there's no competition anymore for Sony.
No
Xbox
shade to
has
console owners,
completely
eh?
flopped to the point where they gave up on Xbox, essentially, right? And the hypest thing to come out of Xbox in terms of exclusivity and games
Was
has been
Halo.
the announcement of the new Gears of War game, right? In my opinion,
Oh,
I don't really keep up with Xbox, but
really and truly, I heard a tech guy. He was
uh,
redoing his home now. He was like, honestly, it makes no sense to have four Xboxes because we could split screen four ways on an Xbox. But really and truly, I'm not gonna use this other than for Halo.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I was like,
Because you
damn,
have
okay.
everything that's on Game Pass is on PC Game Pass if you have a PC. But even then, majority of the games that are on Xbox are already on Steam. So it's like, what's the need
So
for an
what
Xbox?
I'm hearing is that Xbox is gonna tank soon because
No,
PC
but see, that is the
PC is
bad thing. No,
elite.
that is bad. That is extremely bad because Switch, Nintendo has a dedicated fan base, but the only big contender for the PlayStation was Xbox, right? Now that
Mm-hmm.
Sony has basically gotten over the market and Microsoft has lost with the launch of the Xbox One, it literally went downhill and they've just been be so behind, right? Sony now controls the console market majority wise, quote unquote majority wise, right? Quote unquote
Mm-hmm.
controls. So it's like they don't really have any big competition to say that we can make good decision choices. No, they could just make whatever choices they want, and then the player base has the people that own PlayStations have to go along with it just because they don't have any kind of healthy competition, so they could just dictate what they want, the market, which is
Mm.
bad, which is really really bad. I want Xbox to come back because like produce some good stuff, man. You
You
know what I
not the
mean?
same one that just be dogging on your friend that have an Xbox. Bye. Throw it at now.
Yeah, no, because he like to shit on PlayStation for no reason, and he's like, Xbox, but he has the world of friggin' problems when it comes to Xbox, so I shit on him for that. But it's all in jokes. But like, it's good to have a healthy competition within the market.
Mm.
So Xbox needs to update. Microsoft, up all your freaking game now, man.
You just
Jesus.
I think I have succeeded in making just enough sense.
And then tying back
Mm.
into this whole Marvel game situation, right? So a couple of
Mm.
years ago, they had leaked a whole bunch of games alongside Spider-Man 2 and all that stuff that was in the works, and they had something along the lines of a Wolverine game cinematic.
Mm.
Where is that? Because the same studio, Santa Monica Studios, who's make Spider-Man, was probably the same ones that will make the Wolverine game. We have not seen anything about that for years.
To be fair, the
Where
fact
is
that
that?
Deadpool and Wolverine has been such a success, they're gonna be like, oh, people still like Wolverine, so let's bring out the game now. They're probably waiting for the right time.
Now, what would be Giga Brain? What would be Giga Brain is if they bring out
Mm.
a Wolverine game, a
Mm-hmm.
new Deadpool game,
Mm-hmm.
and then have an X-Men game.
Mm.
That would be amazing. But like you
Boom.
said, Sony kind of only wanted to prioritize Spider-Man, and well, yeah, not the shit on the Spider-Man games. Because Spider-Man games are good.
I
I
mean,
enjoyed
if they really wanted to, they have a big badonk donk full with money, Like, if they really wanted to, I'm pretty sure they could say, hey, how about we just take a few more characters? How does that sound?
that. I mean, I
It's not
guess.
impossible.
I mean,
If
yeah.
they really wanted to. But speaking of Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Did we talk about the controversy behind the movie?
No, well, I think we kind of touched. I may have touched on some stuff, but
Did we
what
talk about it?
controversies? I don't think in depth, to be honest.
I think we mentioned it and then we moved on to the Olympics. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it had like, because I still seeing it floating around the internet as I was trying to mind my own business like a good child, you know? And
Uh-huh.
they were
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Keep going, keep going, keep
they were like, Marvel Jesus, my tukush, you understand?
going.
Because, like, how dare you? Christians got upset because they went into the Deadpool Wolverine movie expecting a good movie, and then they made multiple references blaspheming Christ, you know? Deadpool calling
Interesting.
himself Marvel Jesus. I lost count after three, bro. Like he and three of them was in the first 15 minutes of the movie. So and he just kept going. From the first one, I was like, no, stop that. Hachima, come on in. It's not right. Don't do it. Stop. And then they were like, oh, and did you see how the camera panned this way? And it, they had a reference to the cross and this hill. Oh my gosh. Do you know? Oh, yeah, people were going off on it. They didn't like it at all. And I think some allegedly, okay, could be talking out my hoo-ha right now, okay? There were some
Uh-huh.
atheists that went to the movie and they know found it was like too much because it was just so in your face that they're not trying to hide it, that they're just blaspheming Christ. So it's like, oh, yeah, I don't believe in that, but at the same time, I feel like that was a bit pushing it, you know? It's a bit pushing it.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I can
Yeah,
see where
so
you're coming
even though they gained like even though it was a success, I heard a lot of people walked out of the theaters because of it. Like it within the first 10 to 15 minutes.
So people walked out of the cinema because of that, right? But the
Mhm.
majority of the people who didn't care about that, who don't care about that, who just
Mhm.
wanted to see the characters Deadpool and Wolverine in a show and enjoy the movie and all that, I'm sure that I'm probably sure they didn't even pick up on that, to be honest with you, because they were so excited to see these two characters and see how the storyline and how the movie went, right? After
Mhm.
not seeing these characters for so long, and especially Wolverine, not seeing Wolverine for so long, I'm sure they didn't even pick up on it. And I'm sure it's like people who not big Marvel heads or not big comic book fans or
I mean,
all that stuff maybe have picked up on that more than
oh,
the people
I
who
think
were thanks. But it could have been like Marvel heads too.
I
You know?
think
I don't know.
there was one person that said Wolverine in like the old comics.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, I forgot the actual wording that they said, but he basically found his way, quote unquote, through Christ, and the fact that they trying to erase that was disrespectful to them. So yeah, I haven't watched the Jumpers Jump episode where they spoke about it
Hmm.
because Carlos is a big Marvel fan,
Yeah.
and Gavin too. So and they were really hyped to see it, but then like they, I know Carlos is
But
a
the thing
God
about
fearing man, so
the
I'm
thing
like,
about it
okay,
is though, right? The thing about it is though,
mm,
our quote unquote is it the fact that our quote unquote like I don't know if they try to erase it on the whole or did they pander to or did they cater to or
they.
try
I
to
guess then what the person was
if
trying
they
to
are doing
say.
that
Mm,
if they are doing that is it because like how should I say it? Okay. So let's say the Wolverine that died, Logan,
uh huh,
right? Our Wolverine is
uh
the
huh.
one that found himself through Christ, whatever, from the old comics, whatever, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it that I'm not saying that they tried to erase that or the slander or whatever the case may be going on in the movie is just because it's another Wolverine from another timeline. So I don't know if that's they'd be like, oh, it's another Wolverine from that time, so we could just do all this shit, whatever, whatever. I'm not saying that they did that. That's not what they did, and that was not the intention, right?
I
But
feel like there are some things that are canon events, no? Like, Spider Man's what uncle dying? Was it his uncle? Who it was?
yeah, Uncle Ben,
And how this freaking girl died for Spider
Aunt May,
Man.
yeah, Aunt May, yeah.
No, no, no. Like how? Oh my gosh,
Gwen
Andrew's
Stacy, you
girlfriend
talking about?
died.
Yeah,
Yes,
Gwen Stacy,
Gwen,
Gwen Stacy,
right?
yeah.
But this time that canon event was erased because Tom Holland still has Zendaya, but it's still there, right?
Well, essentially, it's technically no. That kind of event is not erased. Well,
Well,
Actually,
she was
no, no,
supposed to
no, no.
die, but
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it had
You're
the
right. You're
clashes
right.
of
You're
all
right.
the
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
universes.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah. So that canon event was changed.
Right,
That
but
was
my
changed.
thing is that they made this movie seem like, oh, you can't take someone else from this timeline to live in your current timeline, right? The only reason why it worked with Spider-Man was because it was only for a brief moment. No?
No, well, I don't think Spider-Man is the anchor being.
You don't. Oh, no. What? But for his universe, he is the anchor being, no?
No, well, remember in I don't know who's you see for Tom Holland's universe, which is the universe of the Avengers with Iron Man, Hulk, all that stuff,
Mhm.
that universe,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Tom Holland's not the anchor being. I don't think Tom Holland Spider-Man is the anchor being for that universe.
So what you're saying is the anchor being for the rest of the Spider-Man is Spider-Man?
No, I'm not talking about the anchor being for the Spider-Verse. I'm not talking about the anchor being for Spider-Verse. Okay, so let me say
Okay,
okay, so
when it happened, it was
let's
in the
say
Avengers universe and not Spider-Verse, is what you're trying to say?
yes.
Okay.
So essentially, Spider Verse I think is totally different from the Avengers verse, right? So let's see in this Avengers verse where Tom Holland is right, this
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool exists, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the anchor being for this timeline is Wolverine. Wolverine that died in Logan, essentially.
Okay.
So going by that, when them saying you can't take another anchor being from another universe, they're talking about Wolverine in itself, not
Okay.
necessarily Spider Man.
But I still feel like there are certain moments in life where it's considered a canon event, like Gwen dying, right? Despite
Hmm.
everything, because even in the Avengers universe, Gwen was supposed to die, and then the other Spider-Man was like, Andrew. Andrew was like, I can't let Gwen die again. But anyway, so aside from that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Wolverine, if in his comic, in the original comic, he found peace or whatever it was. I'm not a big Marvel fan, okay? I could be talking about my hoo ha. I'm just going off of the internet, right? If he
Mm.
found peace with like himself and whatever through Christ, I feel like that's a huge canon event because it would change his life drastically, no?
No, it is. No, it is a huge canon event,
Right.
and if
So
it like, I could be wrong on that too, because I'm not totally
so
100%
no,
in sync.
like this is
But
just a
here's the thing.
theory
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Deadpool was. You have to remember, Deadpool was lied to by the
about.
people in the suits, right?
Mm.
The people who was controlling the timeline or whatever. He was lied to because they were just going off on a tangent, erasing timelines or whatever, whatever. And he was salty that this timeline's anchor being Wolverine died. So he was like, we're gonna put you in a different timeline where you could be somebody because you're unhappy in this timeline, and we're gonna erase this time because this Wolverine died and he was
But
salty
that
about
still don't
that.
make no sense because then there would be an next Deadpool in that timeline, no?
Yes, they would.
So,
So you see where he lied to Deadpool and was like, "Yo, you have to save your universe by going to this next universe, so you could be a hero by going into this next universe where you could be part of the Avengers and all that stuff." If eventually, maybe they would have a way of killing off that timeline or taking or banishing that timeline's Deadpool where they were sending Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. They
mm,
would banish him to the place where all the other Deadpools were, right? They would banish him there, and then Ryan Reynolds would go into the separate timeline to be with the Avengers and all that, and they would erase the timeline. He would erase the timeline that he was salty about where Wolverine died, essentially, you know?
okay,
So,
but I think what they were trying to say is that okay, theory goes, okay? Let's
mm-hmm.
say, not you Siri, shut up. It goes like if Wolverine found peace through Christ, right?
Hmm.
That is a canon event that should transpire across all Wolverines, right? So if this movie came out and they made it seem like he does not care about Christ and all those things, then like what was the point of the comic? Or like are they trying to erase it is what I think that person was trying to say because like
No,
that
they're
makes
not
no
trying to
sense.
erase it, and that's not misinformed because multiple comics have multiple timelines and depending on the author, right? So
Mm.
even if like say this specific comic book that you've read or comic series that you've read from a specific timeline,
Mm-hmm.
right? Wolverine found Christ and all that, cool. Who's to say the one from the other timelines stopped believing in that or stopped taking that on, right?
Yeah, but I feel like if that was the case,
Just
then they
just
no no
because it's
no
not
no listen
just
listen
because
listen.
it's
I
not to the
feel like
forefront.
this debate. I feel like if that was the case, right,
Hmm.
Wolverine would have told Deadpool, "You can't say that," right? I think that's the whole point. But again, right? People don't really
Hmm.
care about that, right? We are just two Catholic people debating this ish. Good cup,
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
cup, okay?
yeah, yeah.
But my thing is, I find that so stupid. Also, I think they just erased all of the other Deadpools from what I've been told was that, oh, I don't know what I've been told. If from the movie, what I gathered, like how Wolverine wasn't Wolverine in all of them. Like there was a really short Wolverine, there was a really drunk
Yes,
Wolverine,
yes,
there's
yes.
like multiple different Wolverines, and so
Hmm.
there are multiple different Deadpools. I think they had told him, "Oh, you're the only good Deadpool." So when he reached to the dump site, right, where
Hmm.
all old emotions grow, I guess. Right? they, they said, "Oh no, we got thrown down here just randomly." So
Yeah.
like maybe that is why. Okay, so they got rid of the Deadpool in that Wolverine's timeline, and then they said, "We still need a Deadpool. Let's take this one. He seems a bit more competent." And then they lied to him and tell him, "Yo, fam, you gotta go over here because the fate of the world hangs in the balance," or da da da, whatever they say.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like your timeline will be erased. But the thing about this Deadpool is that the quote unquote good one, the only good
Mm.
one, is that he didn't want his timeline to be erased because he has all his friends and the good characters
Yeah,
in his timeline.
but his okay, so those characters don't exist in the other timeline because Gwen still exists in like the other
No,
spider,
the thing about it is you could go to another timeline,
yeah, but they
but
won't be your friends.
it wouldn't be the exact mirror. It wouldn't be a one for one. You
Okay.
understand? Like let me see. Right. Let's say Deadpool goes to another timeline where there's no Deadpool. Right.
Mm.
He sees Ukio or he sees somebody from the X-Men, Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
If that Deadpool did not have a relation with those people or a sour relation with those people in those timelines, or didn't they exist, period, they would not know who he was. They would have a negative reaction to if he comes and approaches them. It's not going to be
Mm.
one for one. You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
So regardless of whether there's multiple of the same characters across different timelines, they are not the same. It just goes to show, like in the Justice League, right? The Justice League had a thing where it had all the Supermans, the Batmans, and the Wonder Womans, the Flashes, the Green Lanterns came across and huddled together from multiple different universes, right? Wonder
Mm-hmm.
Woman in the Justice League timeline that we know is English and she's an Amazon, right? The Wonder Woman that interacted with Flash from our timeline when he went through the Flashpoint or whatever
Mm-hmm.
came out was French. Black Canary was French, Wonder Woman was French, and she hooked up with Superman from their timeline,
Okay. All right.
right?
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So just
Okay.
because characters exist in multiple different timelines doesn't mean they're exact same and the relations to all the characters, if those characters still exist or are existing in those timelines, they won't behave the same, they won't be exactly the same or whatever, you know?
Okay.
Because things operate differently over there, whatever the case may be, it wouldn't be one to one. The essential thing is it wouldn't be one to one. So I'm not saying that like, or they're not saying that he just forego the whole he found peace in Christ thing. This Wolverine found peace in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That Wolverine from that timeline, which is the worst one that Deadpool brought over to our timeline, out of
Mm-hmm.
all the Wolverines, according to them, he
Mm-hmm.
failed everybody. So nobody said that he didn't give up on Christ or whatever. He doesn't have God in his mind. But he himself thinks of him as a failure and a uselessness because he failed all his other mutants, right? The people who believed in him. He thinks of
Yeah.
himself as failure. He's not going to push that to the forefront. He's going to be groggy. He's going to point. He's going to be lackluster. He's just, what the hell am I here? I'm just useless. There's no point in doing anything. I just want to exist. I just want to waste away and drown in my sorrow. That's basically it.
Look, I
You know,
was
and that
just
is basically
playing
what they were.
advocate.
That's basically what it was.
I was just
You
playing
know?
advocate for the interwebs, the interweebs on the
No,
interwebs.
no, I
Okay.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming to be like 100% Marvel, like enthusiast or whatever the case may be. I know all this stuff. 100% what I'm saying is true. But
Maybe
like
we should
what they
have
were
Carlos
pushing,
here. You hear Carlos say theory, theory. Right.
what they showed was that this Wolverine, being the worst Wolverine, showed that he didn't believe himself. He didn't care about anything, and he never forgave himself until the ending of the movie of
Mm.
about what happened to the people that mattered to him the most, especially like when he was talking to X-23, right?
Yeah.
The X-23 that our timeline Wolverine sacrificed himself for, right? When they were talking and all that stuff, right? He came out and said how he failed everybody and all that stuff, and in the end, he I guess forgave himself, redeemed himself, and showed up for Deadpool by Deadpool's side. So there's a
Okay.
redeeming factor to that specific character of Wolverine.
Okay.
There wasn't really anything. At least to me, when I watched it, I didn't even pick up on signs, or I didn't even see the signs of like the blasphemy of Christ or going against that, whatever.
There
And
are
I
two
watched this
types
movie.
of people in
I've
this
I've
world.
watched this movie 3 times, by the way,
There's
just to
two
put that
types
out
of
there,
people
right?
in this world. There's the
Yeah.
oblivious kind, and
Not to
then there's
mention,
me.
not to mention, I didn't hear or see anything about like Wolverine foregoing that. It's just that he just didn't care about anything
That's just how they
because he
made
was
it
a failure.
seem. That was just a debate over the
Yeah,
internet. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just talk
yeah,
about this. So,
yeah. So,
anyway, let's end on a little funny note, but not so funny note, okay?
all right, all right, all right.
In 1920, we took
Wow, that was
children.
too far back.
What?
Jesus.
Jeez, Hatsima. I go. Are you ready?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
We're going back to the olden days.
In 1920, we took children out of the coal mines. In 2020, the most popular video game on the internet is Minecraft. The children yearn for the mines.
That's crazy, and that's some kind of rage bait to start some shit. You wanna know why? Because like
Debate that in
back
the
then,
comment
right?
section.
But back then, children weren't, raising cows and sheep and building houses out of diamonds and glass and having a volcano waterfall within their mansion. They were just in a coal mine dying
It's true.
from
But the thing
suffocation.
is that it's labeled Minecraft. So they're like, I want to play Minecraft. I want to play Minecraft. Minecraft is the most popular game. They're like, okay. So we took them out of the coal mines just for them to go in virtual mines. So they could have just stayed there, is what.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
The children yearn for the mines. I saw that.
Wow.
I choked on air and I said, well, that's it. Time to close the app.
That is. Boy.
Anyway, you all can debate that, or you can still debate the Wolverine versus Deadpool thing in the
Yes,
comment
let us know.
section.
Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts.
That's all for today's episode of Mad Hatters Podcast. Excuse me. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like. And if you want to hear more debates between Tristan and I, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a next third co-host soon. But yeah, if you're listening to this on what it is, Amazon Music and Spotify, be sure to give it a like. And we'll see you in Wonderland the next time we jump down that rabbit hole.
Bye bye.